Good morning, everybody, and this is DMS 3000 News Live for Tuesday, July 2023. This is episode 20, and I am today your host, for the most, Jason DeCanio. And we have a lot of things to talk about today and a very uh, emotional ending to our show tonight. So I hope that those who have been told what's going to be happening today, that you guys will be watching live. If not, of course, the show goes into the archives on YouTube, and there are links to that channel as well. But today we've got some pretty good stuff to cover for you. And the first thing up on the show today is that Coke changes formulas and introduces new Coke. Yes, today is the birth date of when the Coca-Cola Company launched New Coke. I don't know if anybody ever thought that New Coke was a great product. And then, of course, remember we had that controversy going on with all that stuff with New Coke. The taste was nasty and everything. So what did they do? They brought back a classic Coke and phased it out slowly. Well, we'll look at the history of New Coke and tell you all about that. And then, of course, the 93rd All-Star Game Midsummer Classic. Well, the Home Run Derby was yesterday, and we'll give you all of that information during our MLB report as well. And then finally on today's show, we'll be looking at a tribute to a wonderful teacher who we lost 3 years ago and has been with us in our memories, in our hearts for quite some time and always will be. Camille Ferraro passed in 2020. And we, ever since then, I've contacted her brother. I've talked to many students, faculty, and former staff of St. Mary Gate of Heaven. And every year we try to come up with a different way of expressing our love for Camille. And I have something at the end of the show that I would like to present to all of you. It's a little slideshow presentation, and we'll give a little any more information to it, but it'd be a great way to show how much we love Camille with pictures. So stay tuned for that at the 9:30 part of the hour of the show. Okay. And then, of course, we have our headlines, sports, and what day is today. We'll give you all of that, plus whatever else we can think about before 10 o'clock, okay? All right. But, of course, we start off our show with headlines and sports and all that good stuff. So let's get to it and start up the day, all right? So there's a new malaria vaccine offers a ray of hope to Nigeria. There's just one thing. Yeah, the country's toll makes up nearly a third of the world's 619,000 malaria deaths every year. Now Nigeria has approved a new vaccine. Will it get into the arms of those who need it the most? And Trump asked the judge to delay the start of his classified documents trial. Yeah, the former president foreshadowed some of the legal challenges he will mount against the unprecedented federal criminal case against him. An old drug offers a new way to stop STIs. Taken after sex, this antibiotic doxycycline can ward off some sexually transmitted illnesses. Doctors are already prescribing it, and the CDC is expected to share guidance soon for how best to use it. And what to know about Prime, the Logan Paul drink that Senator Schumer once investigated. Prime drinks have become a Gen Z status symbol, a prized social media prop for a certain brand of teen male, but they're causing jitters among pediatricians who say they pack scary caffeine levels. Sea lions are sick and dying along Southern California's coast. Here's what to know. A deadly toxin has been poisoning sea lions and dolphins, causing seizures, erratic behavior, bulging eyes, and foaming at the mouth. It has been especially worse for pregnant mammals. A racist past and hotter future are testing Western water like never before. In Western states, the older a water claim, the more secure it is during a drought. Tribes have long been excluded from that system, and now they're pushing for a change. And the Dutch are returning looted artifacts to Indonesia and Sri Lanka. Does it matter? Well, 2 Dutch museums returned nearly 500 cultural objects to Indonesia and Sri Lanka that were looted during the colonial era, including gold and silverware, statues, weapons, and hundreds of artworks. Solomon Islands signs policing pact with China. The pact between the two countries is likely to raise concerns among the South Pacific Islands' traditional partners, including Australia, New Zealand, and the United States. And in Miami, members of Congress marked 2021 Cuban protests anniversary with new hope. The bipartisan members will introduce a resolution in Congress commemorating the second anniversary of the protests. They say plenty of work remains to liberate Cubans from the communist regime. Police clashed with skaters at Hill Bomb event in San Francisco. The unauthorized annual skateboard event attracts hundreds of spectators who cheer on skaters as they charge down steep streets surrounding Mission Dolores Park in San Francisco. And finally, Conjunto Music enjoys a resurgence, bridging a divide between old and new musicians. And known for its thumping backbeat, vocals, and shimmering accordion riffs, Conjunto has been around for more than a century. Now more young musicians are picking up the beat. And that is a look at the headlines for you today from headline news we get from NPR.com. All right, now let's go to the MLB, where we have our headlines today. The Home Run Derby, as you know, was you probably took a look at it. I did too. It was an interesting night for those guys. Derby DNA, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Sr., first father and son duo to win the trophy. Yes. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a menacing swing, a powerful core, and a home run derby deftness in his blood. And in 2019 in Cleveland, he had delivered one of the most epic performances in the event's history, only to finish second to Pete Alonso. So Guerrero's second showing at the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on Monday night at T-Mobile Park came with an air of anticipation. Could Vlad Jr. take the next natural step on the stage? Could he do as his Hall of Fame father had done in 2007 and take the crown? The answer, an unequivocal electric yes. And after dispatching hometown hero Julio Rodriguez in the semifinals, Vlad took down Randy Arozarena 25-23 in the finals to make the Guerreros the first father-son combo to win the Derby. To be honest, I don't remember much about 2007, Guerrero Jr. said, who was 8 when his dad won, said through an interpreter. But I feel great, very happy, very proud that my father and I both won the Derby. What advice did Guerrero get from his dad? 0, he said with a smile. Hit homers. Advice taken. And even though he finished second in 2019, Guerrero had turned in a memorable performance. He hit what was then a record-breaking 29 first-round homers. Then Vlad and Jock Peterson became entangled in a sizzling semifinals duel that required not 1, not 2, but 3 swing-offs, with Guerrero ultimately prevailing by a 40-39 count. Derby historians, should such a thing exist, have reason to wonder what the logs would look like had Guerrero not expended so much energy to dispose of Peterson. Even while gassed, he went on to push Alonso to the limits in the finals, falling 23-22. Alonso captured his first of 2 straight Derby crowns, and the rest is history. 4 years later, Guerrero came back for vindication. This hasn't been a peak Guerrero season, incredibly. He's hit only 3 home runs at Rogers Center, but you wouldn't know it on Monday night, and perhaps this performance can unlock something in one of the most talented young players in the sport. Vladdy, the power that he has, said Arozarena, was incredible. Guerrero's opening round with his manager, John Schneider, throwing to him like he did in 2019, began awkwardly. It took Vlad a handful of swings and 25 seconds of his allotted 3 minutes to go deep, uncharacteristically lofting the ball instead of smacking rocket line drives. He struggled to find his rhythm, but when it came, it came. And Guerrero finished his 3 minutes with 17 homers. Then he hit an additional 9 in his 1 minute bonus round period, capping it with a 419-foot blast. Poor Mookie Betts, undersized for this event, didn't stand a chance, notching just 11 homers to allow Guerrero to advance. In the semifinals, it was Rodriguez, like Guerrero in 2019, who had to deal with the tiring effects of a record-breaking round. J-Rod had hit 41 homers in his opening turn to break Guerrero's 2019 single-round record. Rodriguez nevertheless managed to muscle out 20 more before Guerrero took his turn. J-Rod was the favorite, which made Guerrero, well, the opposite. The Mariners fans in attendance, and of course there were many, cheered each time he grounded the ball. But Guerrero didn't do that often. He tied Rodriguez's 20 at the buzzer of his 3 minutes. Then he needed just 3 swings in bonus time to hit number 21 and reach the final again. The format was not in Guerrero's favor because it required him to bat first in the final, immediately after walking off Rodriguez's in the semifinals. It's not easy, Guerrero said. Some people think it's easy, but swinging hard for 3 minutes is going to take a lot from you. It didn't matter. Guerrero hit 14 home runs in the final 1 minute and 13 seconds of regulation, a homer every 5.2 seconds, and he finished the shorter 2-minute regulation period with 20 homers, and then he hit another 5 in his minute of bonus time. Arozarena had his work cut out for him, and he put up an admirable effort that included 15 homers in his final 90 seconds. But when Arozarena came up just short, Guerrero stormed onto the field and playfully did the Randy pose in front of the runner-up. Guerrero hit 91 homers in 2019 and lost. On this night, he was more efficient, claiming the crown with 72 dingers. Having won the Ted Williams All-Star Game MVP honor in 21, Guerrero has another trophy for his case. He's got a long way to go, of course, before reaching Cooperstown like his dad, but his career is off to a pretty dynamic start. Asked which Guerrero in his prime would win the Derby in a face-off, Vlad Jr. thought hard for a second. It's kind of difficult right now, he said. If it's for time with the clock, I'll win. If it's by outs, he'll win. In this timed event, no one could overcome the DNA and dominance Guerrero brought to the field. Now the prophecy has been fulfilled. Father and son are bonded by blood and battered baseballs. And there you have it, folks. The Home Run Derby in all of its glory. What a run for the father and son team that put together a pretty good outing. And if you watched yesterday's Home Run Derby, I didn't have a chance to watch it, but if you did, what excitement. Home Run Derbies are fun, and they always will be fun. When we come back, we're going to be looking at the what day is today, and then we'll start up on the formula for Coke that changed regular Coke into new Coke. We'll be right back right after this.
Where do you think really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from? A chocolate cow? In a chocolate field? On a chocolate farm? Near a chocolate stream? Wrong. Really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from where you'd expect it to come from. Hershey, the chocolate people.
Chocolate milk people, too.
Carvel ice cream, Carvel ice cream. We make fresh ice cream every day at Carvel. America's freshest ice cream every way at Carvel. Fresh Carvel ice cream.
If you use an automatic toilet bowl cleaner that doesn't clean well enough or last long enough, it's like flushing your good money down the drain. Try my 2000 flushes. It has chlorine bleach the same chemical used to keep swimming pools clean. It works the same way in your toilet bowl. And it works up to 4 months. It really does. With 2,000 flushes, it's not your money that goes down the drain, it's the stains. So why buy anything else?
Something good is coming up. Gonna get the Bisquick down. Good morning, Bisquick pancakes. Coming up golden brown. Bisquick morning, watch it rise. Something good is coming up when you get the Bisquick down.
And Bisquick is made with 100% vegetable shortening and has no preservatives.
Get the Bisquick down. Bisquick!
Dick Lewis is watching. Monk and Lewis. Dick Lewis is watching. Monk and Lewis watching the price. Giving great advice. Watching the store to save you so much more. New Monk and Lewis. We always beat the competition. Dick Lewis is watching.
You gotta be kidding. What's in is out, what's out is in. So many trends make my forehead spin. Don't tell me good taste, I know I taste good. While the best thing though is so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper. We want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste is made to order. We love it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered.
One reason why Duracell batteries last so long is because we never stop improving them. In fact, today's Duracell batteries will last up to 20% longer than the ones we made just 3 years ago. And we'll keep on improving them. Because on that score, we have a one-track mind. Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
Put in, hut! Funky chicken! Duck walk! Moonwalk! Disco! Windmill! Air guitar! James Brown! Jimmy plays Monterey!
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
The starting lineups are on the floor, and here comes Michael Jordan. Taking time out for breakfast at his regular place, McDonald's. Jordan finds the open man. He goes for two and takes possession of a delicious big breakfast and a hot Egg McMuffin. Jordan sets. He puts it up, and it's good. Jordan scrambles. He sinks it in again. Can he fit that Egg McMuffin in his game plan? Yes! Michael Jordan has carried it off.
There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Tough getting out of bed to face all the chores ahead, till that aroma comes through when the Folgers starts to brew. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers is mountain-grown coffee, and the rich aroma of mountain-grown beans makes Folgers one coffee made with the morning in mind.
Now things are feeling right. You see the morning in a whole new light. There's hard work to be done, another day yet to be won. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Yes, and if you got your cup of Folgers there, we welcome you back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 20 on this July 11, 2023. Jason Canio back with you here. We're ready to go for What Day Is Today? Yes, and what day is today? We have a lot of things to cover in this section here, so let's look at it. Today, if you are a 7-Eleven freak, today is National Free Slurpee Day, so check your local 7-Eleven and see if they'll be participating in that event. National Free Slurpee Day is today, and we can't wait to get our sugar fix while beating the heat for free. 7-Eleven began celebrating the day back in 2002, but the beloved frozen treat has been around since the late 1950s with more than 300 flavors, ranging from sweet vanilla to 7-Eleven to sour, which is Warhead and sour apple, to the exotic like mango and lychee. And there's a Slurpee for every palate. Yes, the Slurpee was created by Omar Kenlick. It was first known by the name Icy, and like many great inventions, it was discovered. Oh, let me see if I can backtrack this. Okay, it was discovered purely on accident. Kenlick got the idea after one of his soda fountains broke down, forcing him to put his sodas in the freezer to keep cool. The resulting soda slush was a hit with Kenlick's customers, prompting him to create a machine that would freeze carbonated drinks. Realizing the success of the Icy, that's ICEE, 7-Eleven made a licensing deal with Kenlick in 1965 to sell the product under a different name, one that would only be sold in its stores. Then in 1966, the Slurpee was officially born. The name was coined by an advertising executive referencing the sound made when drinking it. By the spring of 1967, every 7-Eleven store in the country had a Slurpee machine. To fuel the rising Slurpee fanfare, 7-Eleven would introduce eye-catching, if not risque, names for its new flavors. Novelty names like Pink Fink, Moonshine, Sticky Icky, Gully Washer, and Adults Only were added to the growing list of flavors. Then on July 11th of 2002, 7-Eleven celebrated its 75th birthday by giving customers a free Slurpee, marking the first official National Free Slurpee Day. And as the name of the day implies, you go to a participating 7-Eleven between 11 and 7, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., and receive a free 12-ounce Slurpee while supplies last. Get there early since everyone in the know will undoubtedly want a free Slurpee too. We're not suggesting you camp outside a 7-Eleven, but do you really want to miss out on a free Slurpee? So the timeline started in the 50s. Omar Kenlick discovers the slushy treat. Then by 66, the Slurpee is born. In 1970, you have Dance the Slurp. The single record Dance the Slurp is released and given away with each Slurpee purchase. Slurpee of the Masses, as July 11th of 2002, 7-Eleven celebrates 75 years by giving everyone a free Slurpee. So, yep. So every year on National Free Slurpee Day, the franchise hands out free Slurpees to everyone. Since it is only while stocks last, people rush to their nearest 7-Eleven to take advantage of this annual freebie. Customers are only allowed one free Slurpee per location, so you can drive around to different 7-Eleven stores to get more than one if you have the time and enough gas in your tank. Excuse me. There are also bonus deals on snacks to go with your Slurpee. If you download the 7 Rewards app and you scan your free Slurpee, you'll get a coupon for another Slurpee of any size that can be redeemed within 30 days. Here are the numbers. 7-Eleven was the franchise which officially owns the Slurpees. 2003, the year when 7-Eleven created an edible straw. 34 is the minimum number of Slurpee flavors available across America. 7 billion Slurpees sold since the drink's creation. 14 million is the number of Slurpees consumed by 7-Eleven visitors in a month, and 470,000 Slurpees are sold every day in 19 of the countries that serve Slurpees. Yes, 20 are the number of years Winnipeg, the capital of Manitoba, has been crowned the Slurpee capital of the world. 188,883 are the number of Slurpees sold every month in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And 2 minutes is the duration of the song Dance the Slurp. So, what are you going to do today? You're going to go out and get one. This is a no-brainer. All you have to do is walk, run, bike, or drive to your nearest 7-Eleven between 11 and 7 and receive a free Slurpee. It literally costs you nothing. And try a new flavor. You know, with a growing list of flavors, more than 300 and counting, there's bound to be a Slurpee for even the most discerning of tastes. This year, why not forgo your usual Coke or cherry for a purple S cream or a Slurppuccino? Variety is the spice of life. And indulge your inner nerd. 7-Eleven has partnered with your favorite movies, comics, and pop culture to produce flavors like Kryptonite Ice and Darth Dew. Beat the heat this summer with a strawberry banana or Wonka Laffy Taffy Slurpee and satisfy the fanboy or fangirl in you. Yes. And here are 4 facts about Slurpees you probably didn't know. They're big in Canada. Canadians purchase an average of 30 million Slurpees a year, making them the world leader in Slurpee sales. As part of a promotion for 2007's The Simpsons movie, 7-Eleven renamed Slurpees Squishies, their equivalent in the Simpsons universe, and sold them in special collector cups. And 7-Eleven commissioned the spoon straw because customers had such a hard time slurping up the last bits of Slurpee at the bottom of the cup, so they advanced the straws. And Brain Freeze is trademarked. Yes, though Brain Freeze started as a casual term, 7-Eleven saw the marketing potential and trademarked the phrase. And why we love National Free Slurpee Day? Well, they're nostalgic. Something about the sugary, icy elixir invokes memories of childhood summer days spent scrounging up change and heading to 7-Eleven. Luckily, you won't have to pay a cent on July 11th, speaking of the price. And they're cheap. Outside of National Free Slurpee Day, Slurpees are relatively cheap. A large Slurpee, about 22 ounces, will set you back about $2.50. $2.50. That's cheap. That's cheaper than some bottle of waters and better tasting. And they keep you cool. With summer in tow, there's no better way to beat the heat than with America's most popular frozen drink. Enjoy at a leisurely pace to avoid brain freeze unless you're into that. Yeah. And there you have it, friends. National Free Slurpee Day. Well, I also was scrolling down here, and I happened to see this is also the National 7-Eleven Day is also today as well, too. So I don't know if this has to do with the Slurpee. Yeah, it does, pretty much. Yeah. So this pretty much gives you the whole idea of when 7-Eleven was actually born in 1947. So we won't go over that again because it's talking about the Slurpee. But for all of you people who like a little bit of morning breakfast with your coffee, we suggest National Blueberry Muffin Day. Yes. And National Blueberry Muffin Day sounds yummy to me. Let's take a look at it. National Blueberry Muffin Day is celebrated today, and while blueberry is one of the less popular muffin flavors, those who love it swear by it. Now, today was created in order to celebrate the culinary delight that is the blueberry muffin. Blueberries are rich in antioxidants and have tons of health benefits, and having a muffin is the tastiest way to incorporate these berries into your diet. In fact, a lot of people consider blueberries to be a superfood. These berries aid in weight loss and healthy digestion, and they keep you full for a long time. Moreover, blueberries also boost mental health, protect against heart disease, manage blood sugar levels, improve skin clarity, and make our bones strong. The list of blueberry benefits is really quite impressive. Now, like many beloved food items, the origin of the blueberry muffin is a tale of adaptation and a stroke of culinary good luck. For the longest time, an ancient berry known as the bilberry was commonly used in baked foods throughout Europe. When the Pilgrims first arrived in the Americas, they realized that bilberries were scarce in this new land, and that's how the bilberries were replaced by blueberries. As they started developing a taste for blueberries, the Pilgrims began to add them to popular baked goods like cakes, pies, and, of course, muffins. Fresh blueberries are used in ice creams and pancakes, and they're also used. Frozen blueberries are also added into smoothies, and pickled blueberries make for delightful candies. But the only blueberries that can be added to muffins are dried blueberries. Of course, blueberry syrup and blueberry frosting can be used to add that extra zing to the muffins. And ever since muffins and blueberries came together, the breakfast platter has transformed for the better. Blueberry muffins and a glass of cold milk or a cup of hot coffee make for a filling breakfast, especially if you are in a rush. Warming your muffins before serving makes them more soft and delicious, and National Blueberry Muffin Day was set up to honor this beloved muffin flavor. It all started in 1703. The term muffin is first printed in English. It is also known as a tea cake. 1747, Hannah Glass notes down 5 muffin recipes in her cookbook. Early 20th century, blueberry cultivation. High bush blueberries begin to be cultivated in New Jersey. And finally, in the 1930s, the blueberries arrive in Europe. The high bush blueberries arrive in Europe via America. So how to celebrate National Blueberry Muffin Day? Organize a bake-off. Get your baker buddies together and organize a blueberry muffin bake-off. Make it interesting by adding your own frosting and garnish. And treat your coworkers. Celebrate National Blueberry Muffin Day by bringing a box of these delicious muffins to work. Your coworkers will love this delicious surprise. And make blueberry-flavored desserts. Not a fan of muffins? No problem. You can also try your hand at making blueberry pies or blueberry ice cream, or simply enjoy a blueberry popsicle. And here are 5 facts about blueberries that will blow your mind. Blueberries are low-cal. Half a cup only contains 44 calories. And humans have been eating blueberries for 13,000 years. They are the only fruit. Blueberries are the only naturally occurring blue-colored fruit. And there's a Blueberry Pie Day, April 28th. So mark that on your calendars for when we go around next year for the holidays. And they are used as food dyes. Yes, thanks to their brilliant color, blueberries are used as natural food dyes. And why we love this day? Oh, it makes breakfast fun. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day and also the tastiest on National Blueberry Muffin Day. A simple muffin makes your breakfast plate delicious and filling. It's a day to treat yourself. Treat yourself with a blueberry muffin today. Pair it with your favorite coffee brew and see how this instantly cheers you up. And it's a day to treat others. Treating your friends and coworkers is the best way to celebrate National Blueberry Muffin Day. Everybody loves blueberry muffins, and as they say, the way to the heart is through the stomach. And there you have it. Just a few of what day is today. Just a few of them that we can give to you. I like the ones that involve food and drinks and specialty stuff and things of that nature. So you can always go to you can go to the website that we look at every day. It's thenationaldaytoday.com. And then you scroll down and find your favorite national holiday daily. We do this every day here on DMS 3000 News Live, and we hope that you've enjoyed this segment as well. Well, coming up next on the program, Coke changes formula and introduces new Coke. We're going to look at new Coke in all of its glory and give you the rundown of when the product came out and how long it actually lasted on the market. We'll be right back.
Rosie, baby, I'm going to prove to you that the hand is quicker than the eye.
Just keep your hands to yourself, Max.
Oh, come on, Rosie. Watch me make this coin disappear. Ready? Now you see it. Now you don't.
Oh. Terrific, Max. Now watch Bounty make that spill disappear. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Hey, fast hands, Rosie.
Fast how, Max?
Don't tell me only Bounty works that fast.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. Follow me. Just watch a top challenger try to beat Bounty.
Look how much quicker Bounty starts working.
I told you. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Amazing, Rosie.
Amazing Bounty. And it's strong, too. Park that sugar on here, Max.
Hey, Bounty sure carries its weight. And it makes spills disappear.
Like magic. Magic. That's Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Introducing the great new taste of Coca-Cola. The best tasting Coke in the history of ever.
It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it.
It's Coca-Cola with a new taste, a new sensation, a new explosion of wonderfulness in your mouth. Go ahead, try it.
It's just how you feel when you know it's for real.
got the taste.
It's a kick, it's a hit, it's a Coke. Coke is it.
What happens when Duncan Hines packs real chocolate chunks in their moist, delicious brownies?
Most kids can't help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines. No way they can help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines.
Of the leading mixes, Duncan Hines is the smoothest, creamiest batter with real chocolate chunks for a moist, delicious brownie.
It's our moist, delicious way to bake your best. You love that. Duncan Hines.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it. With Son of a Gun Protected from STP. If your dash looks dull, shoot it. Your seats are shot, shoot them. Your tires look flat, heck, shoot them too. Don't leave your roof a wreck. Give it some luster. Give your car high caliber protection. With Son of a Gun from STP. Son of a Gun, what a difference.
Where's my NyQuil? This is some cough.
This is some cough.
If I take this, I could still be up tonight calling and I got to rest.
I got to rest.
Hey, you're really sick. You need children's NyQuil as much as I need grown-up NyQuil.
Vicks NyQuil and Children's NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, stuffy head so you and your child can rest medicines.
City News, Mr. Keebler. Can you tell us what your new sandwich cookies look like? No comment. Well, we hear they've got creamy fillings. No comment.
Keebler introduces new EL Fudge sandwich cookies. Buttery cookies with creamy fudge. Chocolatey cookies with peanut butter middles. And chocolatey cookies with vanilla cream.
We hear they're all delicious.
They are? Oh, were you talking to the cookie?
The cookie? No comment.
New EL Fudge sandwich cookies from Keebler.
Didn't wanna feel so gray, needed sunshine in my day. Tried new Citrus Hill Select, what a wonderful effect. Cause my day gets going and my juices get flowing. It's got everything you love in the fruit. You take one look, you see it show. You take one step, you feel that flow. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
What makes new Citrus Hill so select? Because from every orange we select, we take the purest, freshest part, the heart. It's a dose of sunshine that'll get your juices flowing.
Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
Fire!
It's not easy getting so much rich chocolate into a Three Musketeers bar. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to get all that incredible tasting chocolate out of it.
Ta-da! Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. This is episode 20, and I am Jason DeCanio once again, welcoming you on this July 11, 2023. Let's take a look at the topic at hand today. Coke changes formula and introduces new Coke. Yes, the unofficial name of the reformulation of the soft drink Coca-Cola, introduced by the Coca-Cola Company in April of 1985. It was renamed Coke 2 in 1990 and discontinued in July of 2002. By 1985, Coca-Cola had been losing market share to diet soft drinks and non-cola beverages for several years. Blind taste tests suggested that consumers prefer the sweeter taste of the competing product Pepsi-Cola, and so the Coca-Cola recipe was reformulated. The American public reacted negatively, and new Coke was considered a major failure. The company reintroduced the original formula within 3 months, rebranded Coca-Cola Classic, resulting in a significant sales boost. And this led to speculation that the new Coke formula had been employed to stimulate sales of the original Coca-Cola, which the company has vehemently denied. The story of new Coke remains influential as a cautionary tale against tampering with an established, successful brand. So, after World War II, Coca-Cola had 60% of the market share for cola. By 1983, it had declined to under 24%, largely because of Pepsi. Pepsi had begun to outsell Coke in supermarkets, but Coke maintained its lead only through venues such as soda vending machines and fast food restaurants, especially McDonald's. Market analysts believe baby boomers were more likely to purchase diet drinks as they aged and remained health and weight conscious. Growth in the full calorie segment would come from younger drinkers who at the time favored Pepsi by increasing margins. Meanwhile, the overall market for colas steadily declined in the early 1980s as consumers increasingly purchased diet and non-cola soft drinks, many of which were sold by Coca-Cola. This further eroded Coca-Cola's market share, and when Roberto Goizueta became Coca-Cola's CEO in 1980, he told employees there would be no sacred cows in how the company did business, including how it formulated its drinks. Coca-Cola's senior executives commissioned a secret project headed up by marketing vice president Sergio Zyman and Coca-Cola USA president Brian Dyson to create a new flavor for Coke. This project was named Project Kansas from a photo of Kansas journalist William Allen White drinking a Coke. The image had been used extensively in Coca-Cola advertising and hung on several executives' walls. The sweeter cola overwhelmingly beat both regular Coke and Pepsi in taste tests, surveys, and focus groups. The southeastern United States, one of Coca-Cola's strongest and most reliable markets, narrowly preferred the new flavor, and this preference widened once the testers revealed the new taste was also a Coca-Cola product. One bottling company threatened to sue the company if it did not put the drink on the market. Asked if they would buy and drink the product if it were Coca-Cola, most testers said they would, although said it would take some getting used to. About 10 to 12% of testers felt angry and alienated at the thought and said they might stop drinking Coke. Their presence in focus groups tended to negatively skew results as they exerted indirect peer pressure on other participants. The surveys, which were given more significance by standard marketing procedures of the era, were less negative than the taste tests and were key in convincing management to change the formula in 1985 to coincide with the drink's centenary. However, the groups had provided a clue as to how the change would play out in the public, and finding the company downplayed. Management rejected an idea to make and sell the new flavor as a separate variety of Coca-Cola. The company's bottlers were already complaining about absorbing other recent additions into the product line since 1982 after the introduction of Diet Coke. Cherry Coke was launched nationally nearly concurrently with New Coke during 1985, and many bottling companies had sued over the company's syrup pricing policies. A new variety of Coke in competition with the main variety could also have cannibalized Coke's sales and increased the proportion of Pepsi drinkers relative to Coke drinkers. Now, early in his career with Coca-Cola, Goizueta had been in charge of the Bahamas subsidiary. He had improved sales by tweaking the drink's flavor slightly, and so was receptive to the idea that changing the flavor of Coke could boost profits. He believed it would be new Coke or no Coke, and that the change must take place openly. He insisted that the containers carry the new label, which gave the drink its popular name. Goizueta also made a visit to his mentor and predecessor as the company's chief executive, the ailing Robert W. Woodruff, who had built Coca-Cola into an international brand following World War II. Goizueta claimed he had secured Woodruff's blessing for the reformulation, but many of Goizueta's closest friends within the company doubted that Woodruff understood Goizueta's intentions. Woodruff died in March 1985, a month before New Coke was launched. Now, This product, New Coke, was introduced on April 23rd, 1985. Production of the original formulation ended later that week. In many areas, New Coke was initially introduced in old Coke packaging. Bottlers used up remaining cans, cartons, and labels before new packaging was widely available. Old cans containing New Coke were identified by their gold-colored tops. And while glass and plastic bottles had red caps instead of silver and white, respectively, bright yellow stickers indicating the change were placed on the cartons of multi-packs. The press conference at New York City's Lincoln Center to introduce the new formula did not go well. Reporters had already been fed questions by Pepsi, which was worried that New Coke would erase its gains. Goizueta, Coca-Cola's CEO, described the new flavor as bolder, rounder, and more harmonious, and defended the change by saying that the drink's secret formula was not sacrosanct and inviolable. As far back as 1935, Coca-Cola sought kosher certification from Atlanta Rabbi Tobi Geffen and made 2 changes to the formula so the drink could be considered kosher as well as halal and vegetarian. Goizueta also refused to admit that taste tests had led the change, calling it one of the easiest decisions we've ever made. A reporter asked whether Diet Coke would also be reformulated, assuming New Coke is a success, to which Goizueta curtly replied, "No, and I don't assume that this is a success. This is a success." Now, the emphasis on the new formula's sweeter taste also ran contrary to previous Coke advertising, in which spokesman Bill Cosby had touted the original Coke's less sweet taste as a reason to prefer it over the sweeter taste of Pepsi. The company's stock went up after the announcement, and market research showed 80% of the American public was aware of the change within days. Coca-Cola introduced the new formula with marketing pushes in New York, where workers renovating the Statue of Liberty for its 1986 centenary were given cans, and Washington, D.C., where thousands of cans were given away in Lafayette Park. As soon as New Coke was introduced, the new formula was available at McDonald's and other drink fountains in the United States. Sales figures from those cities and other areas where it had been introduced, such as Miami and Detroit, showed a reaction that went as the market research had predicted. In fact, Coke's sales were up 8% over the same period as the year before. Most Coke drinkers resumed buying the new Coke at much the same level as they had the old one. Surveys indicated that the majority of regular Coke drinkers liked the new flavoring. 3/4 of the respondents said they would buy New Coke again. The big test, however, remained in the South, where Coke had been first tasted and bottled. Now, though New Coke was accepted by many Coca-Cola drinkers, many more resented the change, as had happened in the focus groups. Many critics were from the southern United States, some of whom considered Coca-Cola part of their regional identity. Some viewed the change through the prism of the Civil War as a surrender to the Yankees, as PepsiCo, the manufacturer of Pepsi, is based in Purchase, New York. In a Chicago Tribune story about reaction in the South, a professor at the University of Mississippi observed that changing Coca-Cola is an intrusion on tradition, and thus would not be well received in that region. An Alabama resident wondered why the company had introduced the new flavor in New York. Elsewhere in the state, an Anniston Star columnist, noting Goizueta's Cuban origins, insinuated that the flavor change was a communist plot. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution found a majority of patrons at the Varsity, a popular local restaurant in that city, favored the old formula. Why didn't they test anybody here? The co-owner asked. The company received over 40,000 calls and letters expressing anger or disappointment, including one letter delivered to Goizueta addressed to Chief Dodo, the Coca-Cola Company. Another letter asked for his autograph as the signature of one of the dumbest executives in American business history would likely become valuable in the future. The company hotline, 1-800-GET-COKE, received over 1,500 calls a day compared to around 400 before the change. A psychiatrist whom Coke had hired to listen in on calls told executives that some people sounded as if they were discussing the death of a family member. There were critics from outside the region. Chicago Tribune columnist Bob Green wrote some wildly reprinted pieces ridiculing the new flavor and expressing anger at Coke's executives for having changed it. Comedians and talk show hosts, including Johnny Carson and David Letterman, made regular jokes mocking the switch. Ads for New Coke were booed heavily when they appeared on the scoreboard at the Houston Astrodome. Even Fidel Castro, longtime Coca-Cola drinker, contributed to the backlash, calling New Coke a sign of American capitalist decadence. Goizetta's father expressed similar misgivings to his son, who later recalled that it was only time his father had agreed with Castro, whose rule he had fled to Cuba to avoid. Gay Mullins, a Seattle retiree looking to start a public relations firm with $120,000 of borrowed money, formed the Old Cola Drinkers of America on May 28th to lobby Coca-Cola to either reintroduce the old formula or sell it to someone else. His organization eventually received over 60,000 phone calls. He also filed a class action lawsuit against the company, which was quickly dismissed by a judge who said he preferred the taste of Pepsi, while nevertheless expressing interest in securing the Coca-Cola company as a client of his new firm should it reintroduce the old formula. In two informal blind taste tests, Mullins either failed to distinguish New Coke from old or expressed a preference for New Coke. And despite ongoing resistance in the South, New Coke continued to do well in the rest of the country. However, the executives were uncertain of how international markets would react. They met with international Coke bottlers in Monaco. To their surprise, the bottlers were not interested in selling New Coke. And Zyman also heard doubts and skepticism from his relatives in Mexico, where New Coke was scheduled to be introduced later that summer, when he went there on vacation. Goizetta stated that Coca-Cola employees who liked New Coke felt unable to speak up due to peer pressure, as happened in the focus groups. Donald Keogh, the Coca-Cola president and chief operating officer at the time, reported overhearing someone say at his country club that they liked New Coke, but they would be damned if I'll let Coca-Cola know that. Oh! And for all those people who are watching right now or to my commentary about New Coke, I hope you're finding this very interesting and fascinating, because I don't remember New Coke, even I was only about 7 or 8 years old in 1985. And as far as I'm concerned, the old Coke survived, and that's why we still drink classic Coke to this day. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Yeah. Okay, so PepsiCo took advantage of the situation, running ads, which a first-time Pepsi drinker exclaimed, "Now I know why Coke did it," even amidst consumer anger, and several Pepsi ads mocking Coca-Cola's debacle. Pepsi actually gained very few long-term converts over Coke's switch, despite a 14% sales increase over the same month the previous year, the largest sales growth in the company's history. Coca-Cola's director of corporate communications, Carlton Curtis, realized over time that consumers were more upset about the withdrawal of the old formula than the taste of the new one. Roger Enrico, then director of PepsiCo's North American operations, declared a company-wide holiday and took out a full-page ad in the New York Times proclaiming that PepsiCo had won the long-running cola wars. And since Coke officials were preoccupied over the weekend with preparations for the announcement, their PepsiCo counterparts had time to cultivate skepticism among reporters, sounding themes that would later come into play into the public discourse over the changed drink. Now, after the announcement on April 23rd, PepsiCo gave its employees the day off, saying, "By today's action, Coke has admitted that it's not the real thing." Some Coca-Cola executives had quietly been arguing for a reintroduction of the old formula as early as May. By mid-June, when soft drink sales usually start to rise, the numbers showed that New Coke was leveling among consumers. Executives feared social peer pressure was now affecting their bottom line, and some consumers even began trying to obtain old Coke from overseas, where the new formula had not yet been introduced, as domestic stocks of the old drink were exhausted. Over the course of the month, Coca-Cola's cherry chemists also quietly reduced the acidity level of the new formula, hoping to assuage complaints about the flavor and allow its sweetness to be better perceived. Advertisements pointing to this change were prepared but never used. And in addition to the noisier public protests, boycotts, and bottles being emptied into the streets over several cities, the company had more serious reasons to be concerned. Its bottlers, and not just the ones still suing the company over syrup pricing policies, they were expressing concern. And while they had given Goizueta a standing ovation when he announced the change at an April 22nd bottlers meeting at Atlanta's Wonderful Arts Center, glad the company had finally taken some initiative in the face of PepsiCo's advances, they were less enthusiastic about the taste. And most of them saw great difficulty having to promote and sell a drink that had long been marketed as the real thing, constant and unchanging, now that it had been changed. And finally, the Coca-Cola board decided that enough was enough, and plans were set in motion to bring the old Coke back. Company president Donald Keogh revealed years later in a documentary, The People vs. Coke, that they realized this was the only right thing to do when they visited a small restaurant in Monaco. And the owner proudly said they served the real thing. It's a real Coke, offering them a chilled 6.5-ounce glass bottle of original Coca-Cola, which today you can get in some vending machines. So, we would continue on with this great story here, but I'm going to leave you be because we have to take a break and be right back. But when we do come back, we'll look briefly at the All-Star Game Midsummer Classic, give you the lineups, and then get on to our tribute to Camille Ferraro coming up in the 9:30 half hour. We will be right back.
At the river mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon, which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell it. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamonds. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding. You can ship your pants right here. You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives. We have created for the first time in all history a garden of pure ideology where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of vain contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me, I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Please, get him out.
Mr. Green? Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Mm-mm.
I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
Yeah, sure.
Want my Coke? It's okay, you can have it.
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good. Makes me feel nice.
Be around.
That's the way it should be. I like to see
Hey, kid.
the whole world is smiling with me. Coca-Cola and smile. Have a Coke and
Thanks, Mean Joe.
smile.
So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know. I never met the guy. He does exist!
They do exist. Santa?
Santa? Yeah. Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. Episode 20 is upon us here. It is 9:03 in the morning, and we hope that you are having a fantastic day on this July 11th, 2023. In about another half hour, we will have our special tribute to a wonderful teacher who we lost 3 years ago, who's been a mentor and an inspiration to all of us who had her back in the days, Camille Ferraro. We will tribute her wonderful legacy in just about a half an hour from now. But right now, we're going to look at the 93rd All-Star Game Midsummer Classic and get you on top of the game here. You know, usually we don't have a double helping of stuff right now. There's no regular games going on until the 14th. So this Friday is when they pick up the second half of baseball. So let's take a look at what the Midsummer Classic is going to be all about. Yep, the All-Star Game is set to take place at T-Mobile Park in Seattle Tuesday night, which is tonight, and will feature some of the best players in the sport from both the American and the National Leagues. The best of the best from both leagues will square off as per tradition. There is no fantasy draft format like there is for the NBA or divisional teams going against each other like in the NHL. The NFL also went back to conference matchups for their All-Star Game termed the Pro Bowl. Much like last year, there will still be some stars missing from the game. Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Shane McCallahan, Dansby Swanson, and Clayton Kershaw are just a few of the names who will not be able to participate in the game because of injuries. The AL will hope to continue its incredible winning streak. The American League All-Stars have won 9 consecutive games, increasing the streak last year with a 3-2 win. Yankee slugger Giancarlo Stanton was named the MVP of the game. He was not selected for this year's game. The last time the All-Star Game was in Seattle was back in 2001, and the American League won the game 4-1 as it was Cal Ripken Jr.'s final All-Star Game appearance. He won the MVP. Here's how this year's game is shaping out. So the starters for the American League: catcher Jonah Heim from the Rangers, First baseman Yandy Diaz from the Rays. Marcus Seaman from the Rangers is going to be in second base. Third base is Josh Jung from the Rangers. Corey Seager is shortstop for the Rangers. The outfielders, Randy Arozarena from the Rays, Adolis Garcia from the Rangers, and Austin Hayes from the Orioles. Designated hitter is Shohei Ohtani from the Angels. You've got the reserves, Salvador Perez from the Royals, Adley Rutschman from the Orioles, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the Blue Jays, Whit Merrifield from the Royals, Jose Ramirez from the Guardians, Bo Bichette from the Blue Jays, Wander Franco from the Rays, outfielder Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox, Kyle Tucker from the Astros, Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners, and Brent Rooker from the Athletics. Yes. So, the starting pitchers, Garrett Cole from the Yankees, Luis Castillo from the Mariners, Sonny Gray from the Twins, Nathan Eovaldi from the Rangers, Kevin Guzman from the Blue Jays, Michael Lorenzo from the Tigers, it's got it from the Igers. Forgot the T. George Kirby from the Mariners, Pablo Lopez from the Twins, Framber Valdez from the Astros, and the relievers, Kenley Jansen from the Red Sox, Felix Bautista from the Orioles, Yenner Cano from the Orioles, and Carlos Estevez from the Angels. Here are the National League starters. Sean Murphy from the Braves, catcher. Freddie Freeman for first base from the Dodgers. Second base, Luis Arez from the Marlins. Third base, Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals. Shortstop, Orlando Arcia from the Braves. Outfielders, Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, and Corbin Carroll from the Diamondbacks. Designated hitter is J.D. Martinez from the Dodgers. The reserves, catcher, Will Smith from the Dodgers. Catcher, Elias Diaz from the Rockies. First baseman, Matt Olson from the Braves. First baseman, Pete the Polar Bear Alonso from the Mets. Second base, Ozzie Albies from the Braves. Third base, Austin Riley from the Braves. Shortstop, Geraldo Perdomo from the Diamondbacks. Outfielders, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. from the Diamondbacks. Nick Castellanos from the Phillies. Juan Soto from the Padres. And Jorge Soler from the Marlins. Your starting pitchers from the Diamondbacks, Zach Gallen. Mitch Keller from the Pirates. Josiah Gray from the Nationals. Kodai Senga from the Mets. Alex Cobb from the Giants. Corbin Burns from the Brewers. Justin Steele from the Cubs. The relievers, Alex Diaz from the Reds. Camilo Doval from the Giants. David Bednar from the Pirates. Craig Kimbrell from the Phillies. And left-handed pitcher Josh Hader from the Padres. The game will be on Fox. The broadcasters, Joe Davis and former Atlanta Braves pitcher John Smoltz. Wow. Looking really good. Those are the starting lineups for tonight's MLB All-Star Game. And a lot of people, and there's some some interesting ones. One even replied and said, yawn. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Oh, boy. Well, there you have it, friends. The 93rd All-Star Game, Midsummer Classic, will be upon us tonight. My partake of All-Star Games is this. You've got the best of the best out there, and they're playing for basically home field advantage during the playoffs, since it kind of went down that realm. But the one thing about All-Star Games is that if you're not part of the All-Star Game, then take it as a nice long vacation and enjoy yourself and get ready for the second half. What I do notice is there is a dominance of Texas Rangers players and a dominance of Atlanta Braves players. Does that tell you how good those two teams are this year? That they have the majority of the All-Stars going to Seattle to play in the All-Star Game? Yeah. Because if the Mets were doing as good as it was, they would have nominated their teammates as much as anything else for that matter. And I don't think it's fair to say that specific people have the final say of who is actually the starters or who are the reserves. I know that people vote, and you can go in there and vote, But sometimes I wonder how voting is actually finalized and all that stuff. I don't really get involved with it. But I do enjoy this 93rd All-Star Game tonight. If you're going to sit there and watch it, I know I'm going to bed because I've got a lot of stuff to do during the rest of this week. So, like I said before, the Midsummer Classic comes tonight at 8 o'clock on Fox. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to start our tribute to Camille Ferraro in just a little bit. But right after these important words from our sponsors.
Where do you think really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from? A chocolate cow? In a chocolate field? On a chocolate farm? Near a chocolate stream? Wrong. Really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from where you'd expect it to come from. Hershey, the chocolate people.
Chocolate milk people, too.
Ice cream, Carvel, ice cream. We make fresh ice cream every day at Carvel's. America's freshest ice cream every way at Carvel's. Fresh Carvel ice cream.
If you used an automatic toilet bowl cleaner that doesn't clean well enough or last long enough, it's like flushing your good money down the drain. Try my 2000 flushes. It has chlorine bleach, the same chemical used to keep swimming pools clean. It works the same way in your toilet bowl. And it works up to 4 months. It really does. With 2000 flushes, it's not your money that goes down the drain, it's the stains. So why buy anything else?
Something good is coming up. Gonna get the Bisquick down. Good morning, Bisquick pancakes. Coming up golden brown. Bisquick morning, watch it rise. Something good is coming up when you get the Bisquick down.
And Bisquick is made with 100% vegetable shortening and has no preservatives.
Get the Bisquick down. Is watching, Mark and Louis, watching the price, giving great advice, watching the store, to save you so much more. New Mark and Louis, we always beat the competition. Big Louis is watching.
You gotta be kidding. What's in is out, what's out is in. So many trends make my poor head spin. Don't tell me good taste, I know I taste good. While the best thing though is so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper, we want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste is made to order, we love it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered.
One reason why Duracell batteries last so long is because we never stop improving them. In fact, today's Duracell batteries will last up to 20% longer than the ones we made just 3 years ago. And we'll keep on improving them. Because on that score, we have a one-track mind. Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
What's in, hut? Funky chicken! Duck walk! Moonwalk! Disco! Windmill! Air guitar! James Brown! Jimmy plays Monterey!
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
The
The starting lineups are on the floor, and here comes Michael Jordan. Taking time out for breakfast at his regular place, McDonald's. Jordan finds the open man. He goes for two and takes possession of a delicious big breakfast and a hot Egg McMuffin. Jordan sets. He puts it up, and it's good. Jordan scrambles. He sinks it in again. Can he fit that Egg McMuffin in his game plan? Yes! Michael Jordan has carried it off.
There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Tough getting out of bed to face all the chores ahead, till that aroma comes through when the Folgers starts to brew. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers is mountain-grown coffee, and the rich aroma of mountain-grown beans makes Folgers one coffee made with the morning in mind.
Now things are feeling right. You see the morning in a whole new light. There's hard work to be done, another day yet to be won. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 20 here on July 11, 2023. I'm your host, Jason Icanio, and we welcome you back. All right, it's time now for our special tribute to a wonderful lady who we lost 3 years ago. And she was my first grade teacher back in 1983. And she was probably a lot of students' first grade teacher, also second grade teacher. But we all knew and loved her for 45 years at St. Mary Gate of Heaven. And she was a part of our family, our school family. She attended all of our graduations, our communions, because she was part of the First Holy Communion ministry. And she attended all of the things that we thought that were not important, but were important. She was part of our lives, and we miss her very much. Mark Ferraro, her brother, who I spoke to last year on an episode of The Legacy of Queens, which is now The Legacy of New York on YouTube. We had a fantastic interview where I also read her retirement that he wrote, her retirement tribute, and her eulogy tribute. We're going to reread those, and then at the end of the program have a special slideshow presentation for all of you to see. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the retirement tribute that Mark wrote 3 years ago because she had just celebrated 45 years, and the school was just about to close down for good in June. So this was also a sad time. It was a happy time, but it was also a sad time. So let's go ahead, and this is from Mark's words, and he says, today marks the day of a very special person's retirement. My sister Camille, Ms. Ferraro, will be closing the books on 45 years of teaching at St. Mary Gate of Heaven Catholic School located in Ozone Park, New York. She began there in 1975 and has continuously served students, parents, co-workers, superiors, and the community ever since. Camille announced her retirement back in January of this year and was excited and looking forward to the remaining months with faculty and students. It was certainly a bittersweet time for Camille. Not long after her announcement, it was also announced that the school would be closing after 114 years of serving the community. I remember that day and how sad she was. Seemed like everyone in the community and many others that moved on were saddened by the news as well. SMGH was and is an institution in Ozone Park. I myself used to attend dances there with my friends when we were in our teens. As always, life continues in motion. Then COVID. Not one single teacher or staff member expected to not be returning to school ever again, when on that day in March they were told that the school would be closed for several weeks due to the coronavirus pandemic. Everyone expected to return at some point and finish out the year and celebrate the great history of SMGH coming to a close. Sadly enough, that would not be a possibility. Obviously, school was not permitted to resume, and teaching and learning continued within the digital realm. But SMGH will say its final goodbye today under these extraordinary circumstances. How devastating this must be to everyone, but especially for Camille and 3 other teachers that are retiring at the end of this school year. I believe I was told they have something like 125 plus years of teaching at SMGH between them. My heart goes out to all of the retirees and especially Camille, whom one person referred to as the face of St. Mary Gate of Heaven. Camille continued teaching her students remotely via Google Classroom and was a bit intimidated by this new and uncharted territory. I know that some days she felt an unwarranted inability to adapt, however. She did an outstanding job with the technology and, most importantly, keeping 20-plus second graders engaged and up to speed with their learning. So I've heard that parents now have a new appreciation for teachers during this time of homeschooling. Her patience and skills from 45 years of teaching was displayed in great fashion. Great job once again by Ms. Ferraro. Camille's dedication to the school, the church, the community, her peers, the parents, and most of all, her children. Camille has more children than all the parents I know put together. Was a nonstop and endless display of love, devotion, caring, sharing, and serving beyond measure. SMGH, the staff, the church, and priests, all those who worked there, were Camille's number one priority. Camille adores everything about SMGH, and by the looks of all the wonderful letters and statements in which I received, I would have to say SMGH adores her tool, and more about that later. Camille has taught just about every elementary grade in her career. However, second grade has been her true joy for many years through today. She would always say, "I love all the children, but I especially love the little ones." She has been leading First Holy Communion for a long time, and I know that she views this as a blessing and a service to God. For a short while, when our mother became stricken with a life-changing injury, she relinquished her teaching duties and assisted the principal and school secretary with administrative duties, and also jumped in as a substitute teacher when necessary. I know that she loved those days back in the classroom with the children. Camille simply adores being a teacher and working at SMGH. She loves the church, the community, her coworkers, parents, and most of all, the students. I recall year after year when I lived at home watching her make cookies and chocolates for all the students. Hours and hours of mixing, baking, stirring, crafting, and packing all those treats. She would have the students make real butter in the classroom. I truly believe that she enjoyed this more than her students, and they loved it. She would have her students make special cards for coworkers and for those that may have become ill. She would call me from the classroom on my birthday and have the kids scream, "Happy birthday, Mark." Camille has been extremely active in all aspects of SMGH. She has served endlessly and selflessly and has participated in every single event since her early years. Plays, communions, confirmations, graduations, proms, fundraisers, bazaars, welcoming committees, church events, dedications, parties, and special events. Her dedication to all things SMGH was phenomenal. What's most amazing to me is that you will find so many families in the Ozone Park, Howard Beach, and other surrounding areas that she has taught to for generations. Students, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, and even grandparents have been taught by Camille. Sorry, don't get mad at me, but it's true. She has taught many of her fellow teachers and even a principal. She has touched the lives of so many families, as you will see in the many letters and messages that I intend to somehow post. Camille has taught, laughed, cried, danced, and has broken bread with so many good people over the years. Witnessed so many milestones in students and families' lives that they are just too numerous to mention. Years ago, she would be invited to and would attend more than a dozen of each communions, confirmations, and graduations every year. She has certainly touched the lives of these wonderful families. Her genuine compassion, warmth, and love for the children, their parents and families, and people in general make her a very special someone to all that have been blessed by her involvement in their lives. I am proud to say that Ms. Ferraro is my big sister. 45 years serving SMGH in the diocese. I myself am serving in industry for 30 years now and can never imagine receiving the accolades that Camille has received and so rightfully deserves. I can only hope for a fraction of that kind of impact on those I serve. Camille, happy retirement and all the best in everything. May God bless you now and always. Love you, Mark Ferraro. One of Camille's former co-workers and dear friends wrote, I was sad to hear of her retiring, but now the whole school is going with her. Just as well, it would never be the same without her. I would take any bet that many others feel the same way. I will find a way to post all the wonderful heartfelt messages following this tribute. Here are a few quick notes and a few big quotes. Best school spirit. We'll miss the coconut cookies. Wonderful part of our lives. A teacher's teacher. The communion lady. Ridiculously kind. Oh, those special hugs. Patient. Invested in students. 1 in a million. We'll miss those hugs. Hasn't missed one single event since the beginning. Welcoming and always extending self to new staff and everyone in the school. Committed. Best brownies. Lucky to have you, St. Camille. I really wish that I had you for a teacher. I loved helping you in your classroom. First child had her, then my second child hit the Miss Ferraro jackpot as well. We'll miss your baking. Teach all day, then stay after school, then come back at night to participate in school activities. You always put a smile on my face. One of the most supportive and loving teachers. Love the hugs. Dedicated professional. The brownies again and again. My all-time favorite teacher. Did you know the meaning of your name is perfect? Graduates would return to visit and seek out Mrs. Ferraro for one of those famous hugs. You must send me your cookies. Go Yankees. One of the reasons we go back to the bazaar is to get our special Ms. Ferraro hugs. The cookies. A mentor and my hero. Those hugs. To this day, my kids constantly talk about your brownies. Gave me the best hug or the biggest hug and made me feel so much better. An absolute pleasure. The most wonderful teacher. Loved the children like they were her own. Inspiration to me, students, teachers, and even principal comments. Supportive. Helpful. You started as my teacher and became a lifelong friend. The main attraction at the bazaar. Not a teacher or friend, but you are our family. The greatest gift. Her commitment to serving others astonished me. Best friend. Passionate. Great sister. Oh, that's from me. I will stop here since I have already been accused of being biased. So as you can see, there is a pattern here. The cookies, the brownies, the hugs. Has anyone mentioned the cakes and pies? Okay, I will. Those cakes and pies. Perhaps Camille should consider a baking endeavor for her retirement career. And free hugs to all. If you can find the time, I encourage you to read the full messages from all the fantastic participants in this tribute. They are heartfelt, loving, and heartwarming, and will truly make you smile and quite possibly even shed a tear. I will somehow post them all. Thank you to all those who have taken the time to send me letters, statements, photos, and even some videos. You were all so gracious in responding to my request for this tribute. A special thank you to Brittany and Grace Ann for all their valuable information. Margaret F., Annette, Frank G., and Anne Marie. Amazing effort with videos and pics from students and others. And to all who have helped me in some way. I truly enjoyed speaking to you and hearing from all of you. God bless you all. Thank you, Mark, for that fantastic retirement tribute to Camille on her retirement 3 years ago. And of course, as you all know, the school closed officially on June. I don't know the official date. I think it was June 21st of 2020. After 114 years of serving all of these students of Ozone Park, we lost not only a great teacher who was going to retire, but a great school with a great staff of dedicated faculty and staff that was truly dedicated to Catholic education. We will always remember the great service of all who worked there and served there during the time that it was open. When we come back, we'll look at the eulogy statement. That is the statement of her passing on July 11th, 2020. More of DMS 3000 News Live right after this.
Rosie, baby, I'm going to prove to you that the hand is quicker than the eye.
Just keep your hands to yourself, Max.
Oh, come on, Rosie. Watch me make this coin disappear. Ready? Now you see it. Now you don't.
Oh, terrific, Max. Now watch Bounty make that spill disappear. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Hey, fast hands, Rosie.
Fast towel, Max.
Don't tell me only Bounty works that fast.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. Follow me. Just watch a top challenger try to beat Bounty.
Look how much quicker Bounty starts working.
I told you. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Amazing, Rosie.
Amazing Bounty. And it's strong, too. Park that sugar on here, Max.
Hey, Bounty sure carries its weight. And it makes spills disappear.
Like magic. Magic. That's Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Introducing the great new taste of Coca-Cola. The best tasting Coke in the history of ever. It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it. It's Coca-Cola with a new taste, a new sensation, a new explosion of wonderfulness in your mouth. Go ahead, try it. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. We've got the taste. It's a kick. It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it.
What happens when Duncan Hines packs real chocolate chunks in their moist, delicious brownies?
Most kids can't help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines. No way they can help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines.
Of the leading mixes, Duncan Hines is the smoothest, creamiest batter with real chocolate chunks for a moist, delicious brownie.
It's our moist, delicious way to bake your best. You love that. Duncan Hines.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it. With Son of a Gun Protected from STP. If your dash looks dull, shoot it. Your seats are shot, shoot them. Your tires look flat, heck, shoot them too. Don't leave your roof a wreck. Give it some luster. Give your car high caliber protection. With Son of a Gun from STP. Son of a Gun. What a difference.
Where's my NyQuil? This is some cough.
This is some cough.
If I take this, I could still be up tonight cold, and I got to rest.
I got to rest.
Hey, you're really sick. You need children's NyQuil as much as I need grown-up NyQuil.
Vicks NyQuil and children's NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, stuffy heads for you and your child and rest medicines.
City News, Mr. Keebler. Can you tell us what your new sandwich cookies look like? No comment. Well, we hear they've got creamy fillings. No comment.
Keebler introduces new EL Fudge sandwich cookies. Buttery cookies with creamy fudge. Chocolatey cookies with peanut butter middles. And chocolatey cookies with vanilla cream.
We hear they're all delicious. They are? Oh, were you talking to the cookie? The cookie? No comment.
New EL Fudge sandwich cookies from Keebler.
Didn't wanna feel so gray, needed sunshine in my day. Tried new Citrus Hill Select, what a wonderful effect. Cause my day gets going and my juices get flowing. It's got everything you love in the fruit. You take one look, you see it show. You take one sip, you feel that glow. Citrus Hill Select, get your juices flowing.
What makes new Citrus Hill so select?
Because from every orange we select, we take the purest, freshest part, the heart. It's a dose of sunshine that'll get your juices flowing. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
Fire!
It's not easy getting so much rich chocolate into a Three Musketeers bar. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to get all that incredible tasting chocolate out of it.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. I'm your host, Jason DeCanio. It is episode 20 on this July 11, 2023. Our tribute to Camille Ferraro continues here. Camille was a great person as far as I'm concerned. I was a part of the Gate of Heaven family. My family goes back almost 75 years, where my mom was a graduate of Gate of Heaven, my aunt was a graduate of Gate of Heaven, and I was a graduate of Gate of Heaven. And then we all went on to the same high school, Christ the King. But Camille, in some ways, showed all of us who she really was, whether it was in the classroom, whether it was at the mall, outside of the classroom. Wherever Camille went, you knew you were getting a hug. You knew you were getting a smiling, happy, bubbly face from a person who was always happy. Even though maybe she was sad inside sometimes, she never showed those sad feelings, but she did. And we thank her for all that she has done for us and taught us well over the course of her 45 years, but over the 114 years of teaching every one of us what true Catholicism and what true religion is all about. We really have had a taste of it, and there will never, ever be another Camille Ferraro ever in our lives, but in our memories. Mark also wrote her eulogy, and it was posted a year ago to celebrate her 2-year anniversary. Since this is her 3rd year passing, Mark posted this back on July 10th, and we're going to share this eulogy from her funeral mass. So this is from Mark Ferraro, her brother, and we thank him for his kind and inspiring words. They're just fantastic. So here we go. I'd like to thank every one of you for being here on this sad yet celebratory day, a day we celebrate a special life. I want to sincerely thank my family and friends for your unwavering support and love. I also want to thank Camille's Gate of Heaven family, some of which were already considered my family as well. In my heart, you're all my family now. My most sincerest thanks goes out to all of you for the endless amounts of love and support given to me during this difficult time. The constant and endless calls and texts from cousins, closest friends, and everyone checking in on me to see if I'm okay and asking, how can we help? What can I do? A special thank you must be given to the school and church faculty for providing what felt like to me as a strong and powerful family member that led me through the challenging planning stages, culminating in this incredible tribute we all witnessed the last 3 days. I'm not going to mention any names out of concern for leaving someone out, since so many people went to extreme lengths and they know who they are. I'm overwhelmed by your love and dedication to both my sister and myself, as well as the school, the church, and God. All of your acts of kindness are truly humbling. My closest family and friends, you all have been amazingly loving, but you always are. I wrote a retirement tribute to Camille several days before she was hospitalized. Many of you read it, and if not, we have copies in the back of the church. Well, the tribute told of an amazing 45 years of serving here at Gate of Heaven Academy and Church. We also read that, folks, as well, before the commercial. So many co-workers, students, and their families sent me statements, notes, letters, videos, and pictures sharing their thoughts of gratitude and love for my sister. I used them as a sort of a part 2 of her tribute. There were many consistent themes: her dedication, her cookies, her caring, her brownies, her loyalty, her cookies, her tireless amount of participation in Gate of Heaven events and activities, her special hugs for the children, her chocolate coconut cookies, her friendship, her cookies, her brownies again and again. She obviously did much baking for the people she loved. I should know because when I lived at home, I would witness the process. Sometimes it was midnight and she was making the cookies for the kids. And she says, "Gotta go make those cookies for the school tomorrow. Don't eat those, they're for the kids." But she would always end up finding a few for me. She loved everything about St. Mary Gate of Heaven and being a teacher. One thought that came to mind Wednesday night while I was home by myself after the wake was of Camille lying there alone across the street in the school auditorium. My thoughts turning towards her lying there, and I'm thinking the school was all hers now. And while living, Camille believed that, but not in a selfish or self-fulfilling way. I know that Camille believed it to be an honor and a privilege, and most of all, a responsibility. The Gate of Heaven community has always been hers to serve and love. Camille was also a devout believer in Jesus and the church. As you all know, Camille did not have any children. Reason being is that she had all the children. All of her students that she taught and students she did not teach were and still are her children. What really resonated with me, while reading all the statements and hearing the endless stories of lives she touched in so many ways, was how a student would leave her second grade and still feel close to her and seek her guidance and support through all their future grades, right through to graduation. More than likely, she even attended family parties for many of those graduates. You would have Miss Ferraro in second grade, and then she would attend your wedding and then your child's first birthday or some other milestone in their lives. In many instances, Camille taught and was part of 3 generations in the lives of families. She taught you then, becoming a lifelong friend. As for our family and friends, Camille was loving, devoted, loyal, and caring. She never wanted to miss anyone's celebration of any sort, and rarely did. She always brought those famous cookies, brownies, cakes, and pies. Again with the baking. Upon arrival, people would say, "Hi, did you make those cookies?" At gatherings, she would often work the room and make sure that she devoted her time to everyone. She had an amazing ability to remember names of all your family members, even if they were not present. She asked about your children, your parents, your jobs, and everything else. And the next time she saw you, she would recall all previous discussions. She always made it a point to make everyone feel so special. Another thought that comes to mind as I wrote this was the sheer amount of people she knew. People from all walks of life and trades and businesses, yet she never abused those friendships or connections or tried to use them to her advantage. Here and there, she would reach out to someone for their services, but rarely. She would often call me and say, "I need an electrician," or "I need a sewer guy. Who should I call?" I'd tell her, "You know everyone. Why are you asking me?" She even knew the former owners of Ho Wan Chinese restaurant, and of course she taught their children. Now, that was a good connection back in the day, right, Vinny? As a daughter and sister, Camille was as special as they come. Very loyal, very protective, and always ready to run when you needed her. Her and my mom were best friends, which at times struck me as odd. As time went on, I realized it was not so odd at all. When Matt died, it absolutely crushed her, yet she was stronger than she ever realized. Stronger than I'm now beginning to understand. As many of you know, she was dealing with some troubling health issues for over 3 to 4 years. A severe case of eczema caused her body to itch to the point of sheer frustration and tears. You would often see her face and skin red and irritated, and her constantly trying to alleviate the discomfort. Her hands would peel and split open, and several times she developed infections. Little did she or anyone else know that a deadly disease was developing within and that her problems were a manifestation of lymphoma. She served as a teacher right down to the very last day of her retirement, even when she was feeling so ill. The Thursday before the last day of school, I was informed by her dear friends and coworkers that she didn't look good at a drive-by the school and was having to say goodbye to the community. I went to her house to find her really weak. I wanted her to seek immediate medical attention. However, she refused because she had to finish report cards. It was also going to be the school's final farewell online the next day, retirement day, and she could not miss that, even if it meant her falling on her face. God truly gave Camille the strength to complete his purpose for her life. Many people have asked how she could not have known that she was so sick. How was it possible that the doctors treating her did not recognize this? The oncologist that treated her at the end of her life told us that it often goes unknown. Well, here's what is known for me. The same God that put the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky at the beginning of time also had Camille's and all of our destinies predetermined. As my dearest friend always says, it's in the books. It's in the books. The big man's got it in his books. I truly believe, rather I know in my heart, that this is very true. Anything less would make me a hypocrite to my strong belief that God is real. God is true. And without imposing my belief on anyone, I just ask you to truly give some serious thought to your own beliefs. I say this with love to all. Camille truly loves each and every one of you. I say loves because she has taken each and everyone's hearts along with her and remains in our hearts forever. I love you, Camille. We love you, Camille. God bless us all. Another touching eulogy written by her brother Mark. Very nice. Very inspirational. And we thank you. Now, my gift to this anniversary tribute. Camille's been gone for 3 years now, and every year I have participated in trying to bring some sort of connection to all of those who are part of my Gate of Heaven family. And even though I've been down here for 28 years in Oviedo, Florida, the first 17 years of my life I was in Ozone Park and had Ms. Ferraro, Camille, as my first grade teacher. And then she started teaching second grade after I went on to the higher grades. But one thing is for certain, Camille always checked up on us no matter what grade we were in. And as long as we was in that building, her responsibility was to our safety and to make us comfortable and happy even when we were feeling sad and hurt. She was always there to comfort us. And the hugs that she gave us were truly warm and welcoming. And I want to show you a slideshow presentation that I did that I'm presenting to everyone right now. And this is from the artist Louis York, How Will I Live, or How Will I Feel. This is about a 4-minute song, but it goes on for a little bit longer, 5 minutes. And I put some slideshow pictures that I found on Camille's Facebook page with Mark Ferraro's permission, of course. And I'd like to present that to all of you now. So here is my present to you, Camille, on your 3rd anniversary. Let's all watch a tribute to Camille Ferraro.
If I don't go, if I don't go, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go. Slow down, my beating heart, slow down. You have a tendency to get ahead of yourself. You don't wanna miss out on love again, 'cause you just can't accept now. She's got an easy spirit that you don't wanna be without. Better start asking yourself, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go. Take time, my troubled mind, take time. You're so easy believing that everything's wrong. You don't wanna miss out on love again, 'cause you've been caught up singing sad songs. She's got a heart that's pure gold. If you don't wanna be alone, better start asking yourself, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, yeah, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go, if I don't go. Don't let your pride get in the way of a good thing, 'cause everyone needs someone they can call. Oh, it's only so long she's gonna wait. In the morning, she just might not be there at all. Oh no. It's time you start asking yourself, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, yeah, how will I feel in the morning? Tell me. If I don't go, if I don't go, no one to hold. If I don't go, deep down I know. If I don't go, I'll lose it all. If I don't go.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David Patterson Network for great more content like this one.